Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. So today we're having a bit of a different video. I'm going to be coaching myself basically, or really just reviewing one of my games. So I'm playing against Lebmont, who is pretty much the best or the second best jungler in North America. If you want to say starting, starting in Lebmont, they're always kind of the two best junglers. And I'm really going to kind of try to pay attention to why he outplayed me this game and why he was able to get such a big lead and just this kind of thing, and just see what we can learn from our game. So we had a relatively good early game here. And that wasn't so much the issue, and I am playing with Vision on for the reason that I'm kind of trying to figure out what it is that actually happened in the game that he was doing, and if there were potential areas where I could have like kind of kept tempo, because it felt like we had a good early game and the game started off really well, and then it just fell behind really quickly, and I'm trying to sort of see just where I could have gone better on that. So we're gonna skip through a little bit of the start. We'll show you guys like what happens in the early game, but we'll skip through the clear and kind of just go here, seeing what happens early on. I'm just doing a pretty normal clear, just going red to blue side, just full clearing. I did see him at some point on the other side of the map, so I knew that I could just full clear and that I didn't need to contest scuttle. Now I'm level 5, and I'm kind of I will talk you guys through a little bit of my thought process, so you guys can certainly still learn from different parts of this game. So in this scenario, I know that Lee is going to look for the most gankable opportunity, and since he started blue side, he's either going to gank here or here. Now obviously from Lee's perspective, it's very obvious, right? Are you going to gank this Renekton who's full health with an Ornn? No, like you're going to gank, the low health Katarina. So I knew that there's a relatively large chance he's going to try to look for something here. And so I'm kind of just hovering around because I don't see a very good kill angle here. There's no, wave to fight over. These guys are pretty high health. Caitlyn and Emilio aren't the easiest to gank. So that's why in this situation, I'm kind of hovering here. As you see, I'm sort of just sitting around. Now I get spotted. And so this is actually something I really want to point out as well. So again, the early game went well, and so I will talk about some of the good early game points. And the first one is this. So they use the drop in lane, which gives you vision of someone, and you can see right underneath my mana bar how it has those two little eyes, which show that I am spotted. Now I pretend like I'm backing and I wait for them to go away. So you see how I'm pretending I'm back, and now I see they're indicated they're no longer there, and so I can stop my back now and go back to then pretending, or rather looking for a gank. So basically they're going to think that I had tried to recall, but the reality is I haven't actually recalled. You see, that means that he tries to make a good play here, and then I'm able to kill him because of that. So that's kind of the first good play that we did make in the game. And again, I said the early game went well. Then we kind of go back to just clearing, looking for potentially something. I just farm my camps up because they're back up, and then I'm focusing on efficiency. And now I see their jungler once again is going for a play. And so obviously, I'm going to try to see if I can get there after it looks like we went for a play on the mid lane. Got him pretty low, so now our cat has some pressure, and then we're gonna just go with our cat over here. And again, we'll see, a good play. We get, I think, a Q flash here, and then we end up putting ourselves in a really good spot after getting a double kill here. Or we get one kill, and then I think the cat gets two. So again, early game starts off well, and then things still go wrong. So I'm really trying to determine kind of why stuff goes wrong and where it went wrong. I think this kind of scuttle fight, or this Herald fight, is the first issue. So if we're looking at the strength of my teammates, my Renekton is quite far ahead, so I'm thinking I want to play around my Renekton because I'm ahead and he's ahead, and so that's kind of where my thought process goes. And then now that I'm kind of looking at it, I kind of remember what happens here. Renekton dies, and after he dies, I think I just need to immediately go Dragon here, because there's no way that I can really contest. Even though they use both of their ultimates, my thought process was Ornn and Lee Sin ulted, so I could probably fight them. But I think in reality, I can't really do that because they have just an extra person there. And so this kind of leads to us dying here. And so that's the first mistake that I made. So I'm gonna start writing down kind of notes here. We'll open up our notes here. You'll see notes from other people, but I'm just gonna start on my own notes, basically, of just different things to work on and kind of think about. And so the first thing is, I didn't play towards my strong side, so I tried to salvage a play when they had more people because my Renekton died. And so again, I think the first kind of issue here is that I didn't necessarily give up on the play fast enough, basically. And so that's definitely what starts the game not going as well. And then we see I have to recall here late, but again, I don't even recall. I just kind of end up going and farming, and I get a harass off, and we end up just losing both objectives. And this is kind of where the whole tempo goes really bad, because now my Tristana and them are in a really, I could have played really hard around them, made their game really easy, but instead then they end up dying, and it just goes really, really bad. And I even chase around the map now, and we can see, you know, the problem too. Now my red side, they're up, and so I'm just making efficiency errors, and I, again, played around a lane that wasn't in a good spot. And so then at this point in the game, gold-wise, now Lee Sin is 6,000 gold, and I'm 4,800 gold, so that is definitely the first major thing. And we'll see what goes on here. Now I'm kind of just protecting camps, but I think this is fine, obviously. Just trying to protect my camps once this happens, but it doesn't look like we're able to kill anyone. We do, I think, kill Lee Sin? I'm not sure. Yeah, we do end up getting the shutdown on Lee Sin at least, so that makes it a bit better, but it's still not in a great spot, definitely, because of, again, kind of not trying to salvage a play that already looked pretty poor. So this is kind of the first major thing that I'm seeing went wrong here. After that, I'm just going to go back to efficiency again, obviously just focusing on climbing, or on farming rather. And then I'm going to check the scoreboard here. At this point, it's looking like most of my team is like still relatively even with theirs. Mostly just Lee Sin being really strong, but even then he's not so strong. And then I don't know if I turn off the vision here, if I have any real information. I don't really know where the enemy jungle is. I'm trying to think if I should expect him to be in any specific area at this point, or what I should exactly do at this point in the game. Because at this point in the game, I don't really have camps up. There's no objective up. There's nothing much going on apart from this one camp, and I know that these two camps I just cleared, so they're not going to be there for a little bit. And so I think at this time in the game, I should be looking to make some type of play on the most likely kind of wave to kill, or like the most likely lane to kill. And I'm thinking, because of the fact that my bot side is the one that's going to spawn next, I should have probably tried to make this play in bot side, because this would be the most likely area for me to possibly make a kill. Renekton has pretty good gank setup. Renekton is still, I believe, in the lead in this game. He is at 5,400 gold. Yeah, he's ahead over 1,000 gold. He's a strong early game champ. I think I definitely should have been trying to make a play bot side here as soon as I started farming my camps, instead of making a play towards top side, where my Katarina is not very strong. Tristana and Lulu are not really doing well either. And that's where like the enemy stronger people are. So I think this is kind of the next mistake here, and we'll see if anything results out of that. But again, I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I might have, yeah, I just forgot to click my back button. I think I thought I was recalling, but I wasn't. And so yeah, we end up recalling, and then let's see what we do. We do end up going to the bot side, and that results in the Lee killing our teammate. I don't think there's a ton to do to avoid that specific scenario. And then because we see him here, I remember we do invade. So I think it's a good time to invade here, because again, we just saw Lee on the other side of the map. So even though he gets a kill, we end up getting a bigger advantage because we can take two of his camps, which are worth as much gold. And then we're able to maybe fight the Ornn here. He ends up having the flash. So I think, yeah, in hindsight, like, this play did work out pretty well too. It was a little later in the game that it really felt like we started losing a lot of tempo, and they kind of just made a lot of plays on us. So we'll certainly see what happens in the later parts of the game. But again, main thing in the early game, we could have had a much bigger lead. All right, and then I make a really dumb play here. So I end up going on this, which then leads to Lee Sin going on me, and we end up dying. So that was obviously like a dumb mistake. I don't think there's much to learn from that. It was just me being dumb and over aggressive when I didn't see the enemy, and then leads to us definitely losing a lot of tempo here. And so then, yeah, once again, they get a lot of push on us. They end up, you know, getting a much bigger gold lead. They're up over 3,000 gold at this point. And the Ornn is now left on a free turret as well. So definitely a really big mistake there that leads to a lot going wrong in the game. But yeah, I think it was very avoidable, obviously. And I've also kind of been having a lot more experiences against like top players like Lamont and like Jackie and whatever. And I'm still definitely a lot worse than them in terms of like they don't make these like silly errors as often or as many throws. Lamont actually does make a throw later in this game, but it's also pretty hard with his team here. But it just feels like I'm making a lot more like silly mistakes here. But it feels like I'm not as far behind them as I used to be. I feel like I am like getting a little bit closer. When I play games against them, it feels like I have opportunities to win, but definitely still, more often than not, I'm certainly losing to kind of these top players. And my goal next season is to try to get rank 1 potentially during winter break, like during December. So I definitely want to try to find ways to beat them. I think another thing here that I should probably have done is give up the second dragon and just hard played for bot side here. Like his bot side camps, I know are on a time. I think I know this timer because I stole his previous one. The vision is. So I know that I have vision of this. I know that in 28 seconds it spawns, which means that he would only have 17 seconds before the dragon spawns to go for this. And again, my Renekton is still like relatively strong in this game with Heartsteel and Blade of the Rune King finish. So he has 2 item spike, on the second dragon timer, and I think I could make a big play for bot side here to trade opposite side. So again, I think it's kind of the next thing. I'm gonna see what I end up doing here, but in hindsight, that's what I should have done. And yeah, it looks like I don't know why I would ever go up here. Again, I'm playing just on the wrong side of the map, and then it leads to, I don't know if I end up dying. I lose a lot of health here, and then I lose my GA, and I end up not dying, but my team dies from that fight. So definitely another thing, which again is something that, like, obviously I in my plenty of my videos, if you guys watch, I say all the time, right? Trade opposite side when behind on second drag. And like, this is something I've told people to do many times, and you can see, even though I pointed out to other people, I'm still sometimes making the error myself. So it's definitely something that's important to know. Like, you never, you know, are always making the perfect play, even if you know what the right play is. And so it's good to kind of, again, watch your replays, not even always to find new things that you never, you know, knew you could do before, but just notice these situations where obviously it would have been really easy for me to do this. And now I know that he's going to go to his blue side next, which again is why I think I can play to this top side turret now, because I know his blue side is up, and I know he was just on dragon. So he's going to recall, he's going to go blue side. I can make this time to go to my blue side, try to make a play on this top turret, and ping it with my team. So I don't know what I'm going to end up doing. See, but yeah, again, I end up wasting time looking for a mid play that's never going to work, instead of going right to top side and playing around this side. Because if I make a play on mid, Lee Sin's going to be here, and he's going to come kill me, right? But we'll end up seeing, let's see where he is. And yeah, he is exactly where we said he was going to be. If we look on the vision, he's going right there, right? So obviously he's going there. I should be trying to make a play on top side once again, because I have 40 seconds until Baron. But instead, we don't really do anything here, and it just looks like we just kind of, yeah, we go here, and we continue to hover the wrong side. So again, the similar mistake as before. He's making a play on bot side because he knows that he's stronger, and so he's going to play on the strong side of the map. Naturally, just as someone who's ahead, it just makes sense. It's what you do because you want to force, you know, even fights and whatever. And me, I need to be forcing on this gold turret, gold bounty, and making some type of play to kind of salvage things, which I just don't do. And so definitely, again, leads to not a great situation here where we end up dying once again. So again, we can see we're kind of even pointing out the mistakes before they happen. Like, I didn't even remember, like, this is what specifically happened in this game, or like that dragon fight, and yet we're still able to point out even before the situation occurs kind of how it's going to lead to like a mistake or a loss. So definitely those are the two main things I'm looking at. And again, you guys, I'm sure, have seen me coach people plenty of times at this point, and normally I write down a ton of notes, right? Like 5 to 10 to even 20 things at times. For me, I'm really going to be writing down a couple small things. Again, those two major things that we pointed out so far. The trading opposite sides and trying to salvage a play. We need to stop doing that. Because, again, I'm just looking at this replay for a couple of things that I can work on in my, you know, however many next games that I go into. It doesn't necessarily need to be that I'm, you know, finding every single fault in my gameplay. Because, you know, there's no reason to find 20 things I want to work on. Just find a couple things. And then once I feel like I've started to do better at these again, I can go on to the next thing. So that's definitely like the things that I'll be keeping in my mind currently, that I can really tell are the major mistakes that led to this game being harder. And then I look for a play here. I don't think this is a bad timer to look for a play on. I ended up missing the engage, but I think that we saw Lee Sin, like we knew Lee Sin would not be here. I don't remember exactly now, but I'm pretty sure I knew Lee Sin would not immediately be there. And so I was looking for a possible engage, but didn't quite work out. We obviously missed the Q flash there. And then at this point, we're just kind of stalling the game, just trying to hope that something happens. And so this is another, I think, a good play that we make. We see Lee Sin on the side. And actually, on my stream, I remember I said specifically, Lee's going to go to the top side because, again, I know he's a really, really good player. And so I know he's going to want to push multiple lanes because you don't just want one lane pushing with the T-Rex. You usually want to have 2 lanes pushing. And so I knew this. I was pinging that I want to go here. And then we go and try to kill him. I don't actually remember if we're successful with killing him or not. But either way, I do think it's a good play to attempt something like this with a Katarina, and then we do end up killing him. So yeah, that kind of leads to a good scenario here where now we can sort of kite people back and potentially look for a flank angle. And then I'm looking for a flank here because I'm thinking their fed Lee Sin just died. That's kind of the best time to possibly make a play. He's 16k gold, like he was super, super fed. So I'm kind of over forcing here because I know I have GA, and I'm just trying to force something, and I think it doesn't end up working out. But I don't think, again, this is necessarily a problem in terms of what was going on in my mindset. I just think I kind of forced the engage. So I think I had a couple kind of forced engages that were a bit, I could have been a bit more patient on. So, I mean, I'll write something along the lines of just be a bit more patient on my engages as well. Just kind of keep in mind, as more of a small thing, be more patient and engaging. And so yeah, again, like I hope that this is sort of a video that's able to kind of teach you guys how I actually go about learning from my own games and stuff like that. Again, just kind of looking through the game, trying to sort of, you can see I'm trying to go and predict in my mind what I might have been thinking in the game, or what I would think had I been in a situation now, and then seeing, do I adhere to, you know, whatever I thought was the correct play. And then if I don't, you know, do that, I can kind of identify, obviously, where my mistakes are or what's going wrong. And so then at this point in the game, we're going to end up losing Dragon Soul because we're just so far behind at this point, there's no way to really contest it. And so it just kind of is what it is. Again, we're kind of just stalling here, mostly just hoping. And one thing I do want to point out in this game is at this point when the game looks so lost, we're down 8k gold, they have Soul, right? You're really looking to pick the carry. So like you can see Lemont de Lee Sin has 16,800 gold. The next closest person has 12,000 gold on their team. I also have 12,000 gold. So like if Lee dies, it is still winnable. Like there is only one person on their team who is a problem. And as Vi, my champ's very good at singling people out. And so I'm really just like hoping that he makes one silly mistake and then we can potentially still win the game. And so that's really what I'm looking for anytime that I see him. And so this is here, like again, he's like, oh, I'm so fed, I'm gonna, you know, really try to bully and push my lead further. And I'm like, well, I see my teammates are coming, you know, Kai'Sa's or Caitlyn rather is not here. I'm gonna try to bully and bait a possible engage. And so that's definitely what I'm looking for. You can see, and then he ends up just barely getting caught here. And then watch how I go on the wall so he can't kick me as far, because I know he's gonna kick me away. And so watch how I put myself against the wall so he can't actually kick me in the same way that he wants to. We get a polymorph and then we kill him here. And this is huge. This is very huge because we end up finding the pick, and now we're looking again for as much as possible because of the fact that we found the enemy carrying. And this is where we end up just forcing the Baron. And so again, you might say, well, Talon, you shouldn't force the Baron, right? This is really bad. You're probably going to lose here. And I was still thinking, we'll probably lose this. We'll probably die. But when's a better scenario to force the Baron than when their Lee Sin's dead, right? We're not going to get a better scenario than that. They have the Dragon Soul, so they're going to outscale us even harder. This is really our only opportunity. And so I'm pretty much just, you know, at this point, fully committed to flipping it and hoping that something good happens. And obviously, it does end up working out decently well. But yeah, I'm just sticking on it, too. That's another thing. I know I'm not going to be that useful without my ultimate, so I'm kind of just hitting for the Baron. And then my team ends up killing them here. And so again, kind of a miracle situation here. And then the last thing I want to point out, because we do end here, is even here I'm thinking about, well, how can they not or stop us from ending? And it's going to be Lee Sin kicking us into the wave and clearing the wave. And so you're going to watch, I'm going to position in a way that he can't kick me into the wave, and I'm going to make sure I'm just looking really heavily to ult onto the Lee Sin. And you're going to see I immediately ult onto him, I'm behind him so he can't kick us into the wave, and he dies. And we do end up coming back. So again, I think there's some good things to learn from in this game in terms of coming back from games, because we did, again, try to find that carry, and then we found the carry when they were really ahead and ended up being able to kill them, and then use those timers to make aggressive plays. You saw how even the earlier time where we caught him out, we tried to make an aggressive play as well, and it didn't work, but we, you know, again, did a similar thing later on in the game. Again, the major things I think that I made mistakes from that did lead to this loss, because I 100% could have carried without it being, you know, having to be a comeback, had I, in the earlier parts of the game, after making the good plays, not overforced around that Renekton when he ended up dying right before the objective. I should have just gone to the top side, cut our losses, taken the dragon, and been cool with that. So really my main thing was just not trading when I should have traded. I tried to overforce and try to win situations that were already on one. I tried to contest dragons that I should have just gone opposite side. And then after that dragon, I again did not play around that top turret where there was a gold bounty where I knew the enemy jungle would be on the opposite side. So those are really the main things that I found from this game useful, that I think I need to work on in the future games. And again, I think it's important to review replays, especially when you face players who are better than you. So for my example, obviously I'm playing against Lemont, which is why I really wanted to review this game, because I know he's a much better player than me and that I can learn more from playing against him. You guys say that you're a master player when you lane against or play against a grandmaster or a challenger player. I recommend doing a similar thing. Or when, you know, if you're a diamond, if you play against masters, these types of things, right? Those are going to be the games that are most valuable for you to review, because you're against people who are a bit higher skill level than you. But let me know what you thought about this type of video format. I'm thinking, since I am trying to get rank 1 next season, again, I'm not necessarily going to be hard grinding for rank 1 until December when I get off of school, like for that school break. But I'm planning on reviewing my games, say once or twice a week on videos, so that I can sort of get better and continue to improve. So yeah, let me know what you thought of this video format. As always, I do coaching as a rank 5 sovereign player. If you're interested, just $15 an hour. I can coach you like this, except actually go over your own mistakes and your gameplay and everything. Just DM me on Discord, Talon1169, or through the link in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video.